I have been blessed with the opportunity to work with some of the greatest professional wrestlers in the world. So in today's video, I'm gonna rate those experiences. What's up, everybody? It's Grim, and thanks for joining me on today's video. Please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe for more, because today I'm going to rate all of the wrestlers that I've ever worked with. And you're like, well, who'd you work with, Grim? I've worked with some of the biggest names in this business. And when I mean big, like the Great Khali. Yeah, he's huge. And how about the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, MJF? That's right. The first ever media that MJF was in was right here on my show. So, what was it like to work with these wrestlers? Let's get right into it. So the first wrestler that we're going to rate is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, MJF. I got to wrestle MJF in a tag team match with my brother at the Creative Pro Wrestling School. And let me tell you, MJF was such a jerk to us in this match. Duhop messed up and he was like, "You effing idiot!" And he stomped his hand for real, like really hard. And listen, I don't blame him. My brother's messing up. You can't mess up when you're wrestling someone the caliber of MJF. But at the same time, MJF is a consummate professional. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he wanted. He said what he was going to do, and then he did it. So working with MJF, in my opinion, was a top 10 experience. That was like top shelf. And I rate working with him 5 asses up. If you were a wrestler in the WWE or AEW, which is a wrestler that you would really want to work with? Let me know in the comments below. Next, I'm going to rate literally the biggest star that I've ever worked with, the Great Khali. Now, this guy stands like 19 feet tall, for real. Like the biggest human being I've ever seen in person in real life. So right there, an amazing experience, right? But this guy's hands were like the size of a tire. Like the tire on your Kia is the size of this man's hands. And I always thought that the Great Khali's big chop move was so stupid. I was like, oh, who cares? Like, I want to see Canadian destroyers and frog splashes off the top. Not a chop. That's not devastating at all. Until I seen it in person. When I seen the Great Khali come out with these hands the size of tires, okay, and chop a dude in the head, and the head actually split, just explode, like the skin split and everything, and then he did it again to somebody else, and I said, oh my God. This guy's giant tire hands are like solid steel and they're busting people's heads open. This is a top shelf experience. So yes, I'm also going to rate this 5 asses up. But then he loses points because we tried to offer him a DF shirt to join our little crew. And Khali said, absolutely not. And he wouldn't do the little Khali dance with us. So you know what? Now you lose 2 more asses. 3 asses up for you, Great Khali. One of the coolest wrestlers I ever got to work with was Robert Stone. He was Robbie E when he was on my show, and he was Robbie E from Impact Wrestling. He lived local to me right here at the Jersey Shore, so it was really easy for him to pop in every single week on GTS Wrestling. And what a treat. This guy is so talented that literally I could just be like, all right, this is what should happen in today's scene. And he'd be like, bam, got it. Bing, bang, boom. Nail out the scene. It'd be perfect. One take, and he'd be out of there. Boom, he would do his match. He would always deliver every single scene, and it was always entertaining and always fun. And honest to God, like, I heard nothing but bad things before I met this guy. His name was Rob Echoes. He was local on the indie scene. Everybody said what a piece of garbage he was, how difficult he was to work with. So then when I had to work with him, I was like, oh man, I don't know, I heard bad things. But let me tell you, I got to work with Robert Stone for 2 years on my show. And I never had a crossword with him. I never had an issue with the guy. And it was a pure joy to work with him. 5 asses up. Robert Stone, a pure pleasure to work with. And I appreciated every second of it. Okay, so this next wrestler that I'm going to rate is probably the meanest wrestler that I've ever wrestled. I actually think this guy hates me in real life and was like, God damn it, I got booked against Grim and now I have to wrestle him. And okay, fine, I'm not going to hurt him, I'm not going to kill him, but this isn't going to be a good experience for Grim. And guess what he did? He threw me on my head. Who am I talking about? Johnny Hungy, Johnny Silver from AEW. I got to wrestle him at a Creative Pro show in their United States title tournament, and I messed up in the match. At one point in the end, I was supposed to take a kick and stumble into a German suplex. Instead, I fell down on the ground when I got super kicked. And then guess what happened? I said, all right, man, just skip the German suplex. And he's like, oh no. And then he German suplexed me anyway. He's like, you're going up. And he picked me up and dumped me on my head. And I was like, what? That was unnecessary. So if I have to rate my experience wrestling Johnny Hungy, 1 ass up, mine. Up in the air and over his head, thanks. Rating this next wrestler I worked with is kind of awkward because she's one of the biggest female stars on the NXT brand right now. I'm talking about Gigi Dolan. And I got to wrestle Gigi Dolan on my YouTube show, GTS Wrestling, like 2 weeks before she got signed with the WWE. And she kind of pulled up and she was like, listen, I can't do anything right now, like in this match that's going to jeopardize me and getting signed to WWE, which should be happening any day now. So like now here I am knowing, wow, Gigi's going to WWE. At the time she was Priscilla Kelly. I'm like, wow, she's going to WWE. How cool is this? Second of all, now I have to go into a match and make sure that the Grimster wrestles so clean and smooth that I do not even put one little hair on her head out of place because I don't want to mess up her contract for WWE, goddammit. And at the same time, she's not going to do anything crazy with me. So what was that match? Basically a bunch of kicks. She kicked me a bunch of times because we couldn't do anything to jeopardize it. So working with her, awesome experience. But at the same time, the conditions of it were dog crap. So I'm going to rate the experience 2 asses up. One of the coolest stars that I'd ever gotten to work with was Enzo Amore. And he's one of the biggest stars that's ever even been on television. And I got to wrestle him. It was me and James Ellsworth versus my brother and Enzo Amore. And Enzo Amore, I mean, what a top-notch competitor. And he taught me things. This is one of those times where you get to wrestle with someone and you're not just doing moves with them. You're not just trying to entertain everyone, but you're actually learning things. And when Enzo Amore schools you on things and opens your eyes to something, I'm like, wow, that's how it works? That's why you're so popular? Yes, of course, it's because he runs his mouth. But he makes it mean something, and he taught me one of the ways to make that happen. And he said one of the basic ways to get such baby face sympathy heat behind you. Like, he taught me all of these things. Of course, I don't do any of them because I'm the consummate heel. But if I had to rate working with Enzo Amore, I would definitely give that 5 huge asses up because Enzo Amore, the consummate professional. If we're talking about learning experiences, I learned a hell of a lot getting my ass kicked by James Storm. James Storm is like, he's not just any old dude who's just gonna be like, oh yeah, Grim talks crap all about me and I'm just gonna have fun with it. No, James Storm comes along and it's like, yo, this is not how I do things, and I will put my foot down your throat if you don't do things correctly. And I was like, and he was like, this is how it's gonna go down. And I was like, okay, listen, I'm not gonna mess with Mr. Beer Money, okay? I'm not gonna cause problems. So this was a learning experience for me. And one of the coolest things about the learning experience was it wasn't so much James Storm dropping James Storm knowledge on me, but he was dropping Mr. Perfect knowledge on me. He was like, yo, Kurt Hennig taught me this. Kurt Hennig taught me that. Kurt Hennig said that in this situation. And I'm just like, so basically all this stuff I'm learning right now and everything I'm absorbing from James Storm is from Mr. Perfect. So yeah, I was trained by Mr. Perfect. What's up, everybody? It's Grim, and I was trained by Mr. Perfect. I got the proof. So, all right. So if I'm going to rate James Storm, now listen, it was a little tough to work with because I was scared. I thought he was going to kick my ass, okay? I was a little tough to work with, a little awkward situation because I talked crap that I shouldn't have talked. So I thought I might die. So for that, I would bring the experience down a little bit to maybe like 3 asses up. But all in all, James Storm was an awesome dude. I ain't got anything bad to say about him. One of the coolest people that I ever got to wrestle in the history of GTS Wrestling is Tito Santana. This guy was a legend, okay? This is someone that I grew up watching on TV. This is the first WrestleMania that I ever ordered, and the first match on that card was a Tito Santana match against Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 8, by the way. So getting to work with Tito Santana in my own yard, one of the biggest moments in the history of my life, okay? So automatically, this is a top shelf experience. Tito Santana, like I said, a legend. Tito Santana, a guy who knows what he's doing when he gets in the ring, a guy who knows exactly what to say and when to say it, and a guy who knows how to get the heat. So that's why my match with Tito Santana was one of the best matches and one of my most favorite matches that I've ever had. Guys, definitely go check that match out if you haven't. It was such a build and long-term storytelling, and it was all thanks to some of Tito's expertise, the things that he taught me. And I just want to appreciate you, Tito Santana. You're a legend, and I appreciated you working with me. I appreciate you coming to my yard, and not only that, but I appreciate you doing the job. So working with Tito Santana is definitely one of the best experiences of my life. 5 asses up. If I'm going to rate some of the greatest wrestlers that I've ever worked with, of course I have to include Platinum Max, Max Caster, as he was known on my show, he was in the Shook crew. And working with him was phenomenal because this guy was so talented that I knew from day one working with him, he's going places. A lot of people don't even realize that the very first Max Caster diss track was about me. He wrote a whole song tearing me up because we were about to have a match at Create Pro back in, I believe this was 2018. And this was the show that I ran into Christian, where me and him had that whole awkward encounter, which I talked about in a previous vlog. But working with Max was phenomenal. And it actually, was very calming because in this match that I had to have with him one-on-one at Create Pro, our match was slated to go for 18 minutes. I don't wrestle for 18 minutes. On what planet do they think they're gonna get 18-minute match at a Grimmon, especially in front of people? I mean, maybe in my yard where I could cut to catch my breath or something. You know, maybe take a little rest spot as I beat somebody with chairs. But to go against somebody the caliber of Platinum Max for 18 minutes, He said, don't worry, Grim, I got you. We're gonna get through this and it's gonna be awesome. And let me tell you, it was. That was one of my favorite matches that I've ever had. And at the time, Max Caster was a Create Pro student. He wasn't a former AEW tag team champion like he is now. He wasn't a future world heavyweight. Well, I mean, I guess he was a future world heavyweight champion. And he was also a future AEW heavyweight champion. But working with Platinum Max was definitely one of the best experiences. And I'm gonna rate him 5 asses way up. I was shook. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments below if there's any other wrestlers that I worked with that you want me to rate. As a matter of fact, I think I should do another video like this rating some of the GTS stars. You know, the guys that are just my regulars, the ones that are local to my show. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you want to see. I thank you guys so much again for watching. Please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe for more, tap the bell, turn on the notifiers, and if you're not down with that, you're gonna get snapped by a Slim Grim.